Hey everybody, welcome to MT Guitar. Thanks so much for joining us today. And today we're getting into CAGED system, which actually was a request from a subscriber. And go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. But yeah, this is all about the fretboard and understanding the fretboard. Not so easy. I'm going to show you the basics of understanding CAGED, how to start applying it, and I'm going to be posting future videos with exercises and other things to build on top of this. But this is a video about understanding CAGED. What is it? How do we see it? How do we apply it? And mainly, how do we start using it to improvise, to solo, to play chords in all sorts of areas? So it's a lot of stuff to go over, and I'm going to sort of break it down both theoretically and in terms of, you know, what are the patterns we should be thinking of, what are the shapes we should be thinking of, and can we repeat it in other keys? And the hint is yes, we can. So with that, let's get started with this lesson and zoom in on the hands. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to break down what CAGED means. We're going to define it. I'm going to show you how it works in the guitar. Even if this is something that you're not ready to play a lot of, I recommend you watch this whole video because we're going to be basically describing how it works. And so you know, whether or not you're playing this stuff right away or you just want to introduce your mind to the concept, it's worth watching. So let's say we're in the key of C. And what does CAGED mean? Let's define it. CAGED means we have a C chord shape. We have an A chord shape. Okay, so we have a C chord shape. We've got an A chord shape, a G chord shape, an E chord shape, and a D chord shape. And those are all open chords, and those are the first chords we all learn. They're also called cowboy chords. And, you know, this is the starting place for everybody, and many of the best songwriters and bands rely on these chords. So why do we need CAGED if we already know those chords? Well, CAGED allows us to break free from the first three frets, which is what we're accessing. And we know maybe know some bar chords, but we're kind of missing out on the rest of the fretboard. So let's break down what a C shape means. Okay, if I have a C shape and I want to move everything up one fret, it's a bar chord. It's not the kind of bar chord we're used to. So instead of starting with C, even though it's the first letter of CAGED, we're going to start with E, so you can better understand this. If I have an E chord and I want to play an F, there is no open F chord. Okay, F chord is a bar chord, as most of you probably know. So what we would need to do to play an F chord is play an E shape one fret up. So I'm going to bar the first fret as if the guitar stopped here, as if the nut was, instead of being open, was on the first fret. And then I'm going to play an E shape, meaning 2 frets away on the 5th and 4th string, 1 fret away on the 3rd string. I'm going to move that up 1 fret, but I need to now bar the remaining strings so that it's, you know, it's an F chord. This is a flamenco and Spanish sound, which is great, but it's not really common in American pop and rock. So to do that, I would need to bar this, and now I have an E shape going on an F chord. It's not an E chord, but it is an E shape. If I keep going, I'm just playing an E shape on countless fret, on, you know, all the way up to 12th fret, and I'm basically changing the key. So I could play F, I could play G, A, whatever, B, using an E shape. And the same thing goes with the A shape, the next most common bar chord, or equally common. If I want to play a B, I simply take the A shape, move it up 2 frets, but I need to do it with either 3 fingers or 1 finger, and then I need to bar the 5th string, because that would be an interesting jazz chord, but it wouldn't be a B chord. So I would need to bar that, or like that. So these are bar chords that are already using CAGED without us really knowing it if you're kind of a beginner or even intermediate. And what we want to do is we want to say, okay, we got the E shapes, we got the A shapes. We understand that. What about the C shapes, the G shapes, and the D shapes? These are not common to play in practical application. This is why CAGED can be confusing. But we need to address these shapes and understand them and see them, and so that we can now start soloing, playing chords, triads, inversions, all sorts of things all over the fretboard and the neck. So now that I've described the bar chord formation of E and A, let's go backwards back to C. I'm at a C. Let's say I want to play the C shape as a bar. I'd have to be, basically barring the first fret, just like I did with the F chord and the B chord, or B flat. And then I would want to play a C shape. 3 frets up, 2 frets up, 1 fret up. Just like here, 3 frets up, 2 frets up, 1 fret up. 3 frets up with the bar. This would be a C sharp with the C shape. This would be a D chord with the C shape. All right. Now let's talk about the G shape. Here's a G. If I want to bar everything, 3 frets up, 2 frets up, 3 frets up. Just like the G chord. Okay, let me just say right now, these are not practical chords. These are not chords you're going to be seeing any reputable guitarist play in a recording or in a show, in a live setting. So, that being said, we still want to play them just to understand them. So there's the G. And what about the D chord? We want to bar the D, which is the first 4 or 5 strings. Actually, you can play all 5 strings in a D chord. It would be an inversion. So we want to bar that and then go up 2 frets, 3 frets, 2 frets, just like a D chord. Now we have a D shape. Again, not an easy chord to play, not really that useful for playing actual chords yet. So we've gone through all 5 shapes barred. Now let's take the key of C, which is what I started with in my demonstration at the beginning of the video, and I want to go through CAGED, the acronym. CAGED. So I start with C, and then what I want to do is I go to A, the A shape, meaning an A chord up 3 frets, because C here is starting on the 3rd fret, 5th string. So then I play a C bar chord. And to play the whole thing, I don't want to do it like this, with the 3rd finger covering the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. I want to do all 4 fingers, including the 6th string through 1st string. That's the full A shape. I'll cover why that's important in future videos about triads, but all the chord tones are present. So that's A, the A shape of C. Now, C, A, the next letter in CAGED is G. So we'd go to C on the E string, and we'd do a G bar chord up 5 frets. And we know that because this is the C note. Alright, so very difficult to play. I can't do it right now, but can barely kind of pull it off because I don't practice this. I just know of it. I know the shape. That's the G shape of C. After CAG is E, so CAGED, now we're at E, and it's the bar chord that you're all familiar with, most of you, that we talked about with the F chord. It would be up 8 frets. And this is the E shape of C. Finally, we have D shape, and it would be, here's the C, okay? This is a D because it's the 12th fret, same as the open D. Here's 12, here's C. Now we have a D shape, which is going to be 2 frets ahead of the bar. 3 frets, 2 frets. And we're going to bar the 5th string as well. So, this is just an introduction to this because what you can do with this is very powerful with time. So if I have all those 5 chords, now I can start to visualize the key of C everywhere. And somebody's playing a song with the open C chord, I can just start to explore. There's the A shape. Playing the major scale in the A shape. Now I'm playing the G shape. Now I'm playing the E shape. A shape. G shape. E shape. D shape. E shape. D shape. E shape. A shape. C shape. Now I know the major scales, which I haven't covered yet in my videos, but I will. But let's say you don't know the major scales, and you say, that's really cool, but I don't know what to do with this yet. Well, it takes time, and this is months and months and months, or even years and years of building your understanding. But let's say I only know the chords. Let's say I want to isolate 3 strings at a time. I'm going to isolate the first 3 strings of the C shape. Sometimes we forget to do that. We think we either have to play full chords or solos. That's not really true. We can play 3 chords out of 3 strings. There's the C shape, there's the A shape, there's the G shape, there's the E shape, there's the D shape, and C shape together. So now I can go, no scales, just chords. So if somebody's playing a song, I can go, and just go all around the fretboard with only knowing CAGED, without any scales knowledge. Once you add the scales, you can connect the dots. Okay, let's do one more key. Let's do G. Here's the G form. C-A-G, next letter is E. There's the E form. C-A-G-E-D, next letter is D. Here's the D form. C-A-G-E-D. Now we've reached the end of the word, and we're back to C form. Here's C form. After C is A. There's A form. There's a C form. People who use the CAGED are people like Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, Stevie Ray Vaughan, every guitarist, John Mayer, Dave Matthews, anyone who you see going all around the fretboard, and not just, there's a lot of songwriters that just stick to the regular chords, which is great, and I love their music a lot of times. But you have the real heavy hitter guitar players that can just rip. Any jazz musician on the guitar knows CAGED, I imagine. And so this is something, the Beatles learned CAGED. It took them some time because they were self-trained, but if you spend enough time doing it, you will learn CAGED. But I'm trying to give you a little shortcut here. So what I would recommend is practice a different key each day and do the CAGED system. Do E next, do A next, do sharps and flat keys, and go through and find out how you can connect one key over 5 shapes. Because there's only 5 shapes in the guitar. Once we get those, the patterns start to repeat. Okay? So that's a lot of stuff to work on, and I'm trying to keep this video manageable. So with that, you have a lot to work on, and there will be more on this in the future. Enjoy. All right, everybody, well done. So a lot to chew on here. Take the time to really explore this and have fun with it, and you'll sort of see how everything sort of connects in the fretboard with time, but it will take some time. So have a great day, everybody. Looking forward to next lesson. Take care. Bye.